All right, guys, the end of the month is finally here, and it is now the end of my spending freeze challenge. So keep watching, and I'll let you know how it went for me. First, let's review the rules. I was under a spending freeze challenge. I was not allowed to spend any money unless it was for an emergency, a necessary expense like rent, food, water, things like that, or if it was because of something also essential like gasoline for my car, bills, things to that extent. That was the challenge. I did not make it. I'm going to say that up front. It was really hard, much harder than I thought it was going to be. So let's go over a breakdown of what I did buy during this challenge. I ended up spending $30 on gas. I only had to fill up my car once, which was great. Daily expenses, I did not keep track of those, but they were just usual things I would have had to spend money on anyway. I did end up having to buy a book for my classroom, and that was $9. So far, that looks pretty good. But then we got to some moments, weak points, about halfway through the challenge when I went a little bit crazy. I ended up redoing my closet, and the new furniture I got for my dresser and my closet ended up costing $257. No, not a necessity. It gets worse though. I also spent $103 on clothes. I did get clothes on sale, to be fair. I ended up, some of my pants got ruined for school where I teach, and I also needed some new tops for my wardrobe because winter time is over in Arizona. So I ended up going to the store. $103 later. I didn't buy a lot of stuff, but it was still more than I'd obviously wanted to do this month. So I'm a little disappointed with myself there. And then there's this part at the end where I ended up spending $100 at Famous Footwear. I bought 2 pairs of shoes. Obviously, they weren't on sale very much. They were not a necessity. I don't regret buying them because I did need more shoes, and they are really nice shoes for the price especially. However, I know it broke the rules of my challenge, so I'm just going to be upfront there. I did not pass this challenge. I failed pretty badly. And I'm also not usually the type of person to spend $100 on shoes, just for the record. But I do think that even though I failed with this challenge, it's worth analyzing and looking into more. I learned a lot from it. The first thing being that it's not as easy as I thought it would be to not spend money for a month. I went through some withdrawals. I think obviously my spending spree at the end kind of proves that. You get to the point where even though you don't need anything, you do want to buy stuff. I saw the paychecks coming in. I wanted to spend my money. And it was really hard to tell myself, no, you don't need that. No, you don't have to buy that right now. And even though I did not do as well as I thought, I do think I still learned a lot from it. First of all, I want to be upfront. I went into this challenge. I picked this challenge because I thought it would be easy for me. I am pretty minimalistic for the most part. I don't like buying new things all the time. I'm not really spontaneous when it comes to spending money, and I'm also not as much of an emotional buyer. At this time, obviously, some other situations came up, like my closet, winter ending, needing new shoes, things like that. And so when I made those purchases, I did choose higher quality items. Again, going back to minimalism. And that did bring up my price as well for those things. However, I did notice that I spent a lot more time looking at my expenses. Even my essential expenses, I was sitting there seeing if there were things that I could take off my list, things that I really didn't need that I thought I needed. And a lot of times I did find things that were not necessary, things that I had thought were necessary, but that I didn't really need. And so that was really helpful for me, just reevaluating what's a need and what's a want and deciding between those. I also think it really helped me prioritize what was important to buy. There was one point where I ran out of foundation and I didn't buy more. Even though it was much cheaper than the shoes I bought, I did not buy more of that because I knew I could get by without it and that I would be okay without it. Going back to the shoes, I know I don't need them, but again, I don't regret it because I prioritized them because they were nice, because I knew they would last me long, and that they were good quality. So I think just keeping that mindset, thinking about my purchases, being intentional with my money was a really nice side effect of this challenge. And something that happened even though I failed it, which I think is kind of cool. I would love to try this again in the future and see if I'm better at it. But for now, I am relieved it's over. I do plan to still be intentional with where I spend my money, but it will be nice to have that flexibility to go out to eat with friends if I want to, or to spend my money on something I know I'll enjoy. Overall, though, I learned a lot. I'm happy with it. Hopefully next time I do a little bit better. I hope this challenge either inspires you or helps you think about money and spending a little bit differently. And if you have any comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more challenges, go ahead and give it a thumbs up so I can keep making more for you. And that's it for today. Thank you so much, and I will see you again soon.